Oh, what am I doing? Good morning. Just gone 9 o'clock in the morning and it's beautifully sunny. I wasn't expecting this. The forecast was like overcast, windy, and I was going to get up early anyway. I was thinking I'll get up, go to bed. Well, I went to bed early. I crashed out. I was super tired. I basically hadn't slept all of the night before, and then I was travelling all day, and then went up, took some pictures just up the back there, and yeah, basically came back, watched a bit of football, and then just crashed out. And I thought I'll get up early, but no, my body didn't want to, so I didn't get up till about half an hour ago. But yeah, beautifully sunny, and before I got out of bed I could hear the wind was howling. Honestly, it was so loud, and it was actually physically shaking this little shed around. But yeah, so that was exciting. So I thought we were going to be in for a day of wind, but no, that's died down. Sun's out, it's a nice amount of clouds, so really nice day today. So I'll go explore later, but first I want to look at the pictures I took yesterday. I need to download footage off the camera, sort bits and pieces out, have some coffee, importantly. But also I was thinking I would do a little video just showing you what I brought with me, camera equipment wise, and other bits and pieces that you may find of interest, you may not. But I'm just going to do a little bit of editing and data downloading first, and then I will do that. So here we go. All the stuff I've brought, pretty much everything. Where to start? Well, let's start with cameras, I guess. The Sony A7riii. I recently upgraded to the A7riii. For the last year I've been using the A7iii. There's reasons why I bought the A7riii, but in short, there's specific reasons why you should upgrade to the A7riii, but I'm going to cover that in another video. But if you're thinking about buying the A7riii for landscape photography, by all means go for the A7riii. It is an amazing camera at a really good price right now. But I have got specific reasons to going up to the A7riii, which reminds me, one of the things I noticed last night was that I haven't really sat down and gone through all the settings on this. If you go to the menu and then in the first tab, number 2 of the first tab, you've got long exposure NR, noise reduction, and if that is on, like it has been, I've now turned it off, what it will do, I took a 2-minute 40-second long exposure last night. The long exposure finished, I turned the intervalometer off, but then it goes into this processing mode where it will then take another 2 minutes 40, or however long the long exposure was. It will then do that again to, I don't know what it's doing exactly, but I don't know what it does, but it's just annoying. So I forgot to turn it off, so I've turned it off now. If you use a Sony camera and wonder why it keeps doing that after every long exposure, that is why. You need to go turn the long exposure noise reduction off. So that's my landscape photography camera. I've also got my Sony RX100 Mark III with its nice little flippy screen, 1-inch sensor, and this is, I love this camera so much. It's just a perfect little pocket camera. I used it for vlogging for a long time, still do, and great camera, great camera. So that's kind of a little compact pocket camera that I'll carry around with me for snapshots or a bit of vlogging. The one I'm currently using now, let's right, so this is the camera I'm using. We have the A7iii, which is an amazing camera. I record in HD basically because the 4K files are too big. I've got the Sony A7iii, which is for APS-C cameras on there, so I shoot in APS-C crop mode on the A7iii. This is just a cheap shotgun mic off Amazon that does the job, and yeah, recording HLG, and then while I'm here I've got my Manfrotto 290 extra that has been, that 290 extra has been a very good tripod for me. Well, while I'm here I have with me the Samyang 35mm 1.4 lens, which this is a landscape photography trip. I don't need a 35mm 1.4, but I really like this for shooting astro. So if I get the opportunity to shoot astro, this lens is amazing. Fully open at 1.4, and it lets in so much light, probably equivalent amount of light that this 15mm f2 does. So while we're here, I've got the Laowa 15mm f2. This is a recent purchase. It's a manual focus lens. Still kind of getting to grips with it. So far it seems to be a very good lens, and happy with it. It focuses very nicely, metal body. You can declick the aperture, so if you like video you can have a nice smooth transition or a clicky one. Focus is that infinity focus seems to be spot on. The only slight downside is that it doesn't transfer, there's no like electronic communication with the camera, so it doesn't transfer aperture and focal length data, EXIF data, that's part of the photo you take. And then I have the it's Canon mount Sigma 24-105 f4. It's very good, very sharp lens. It's obviously a lot cheaper than the Sony 24-105 at half the price. And I don't use it for video or I don't use it for video or anything, so, or shooting much portraiture, so I'm not interested in autofocus. I fully manually focus when I'm shooting landscape, so that's not a big deal. It can I've got the Sigma MC11 adapter on here, which is very good, and actually autofocus performance is, especially on the A7iii, is negligible between using this Sigma Canon mount and a Sony one I've got on the A7iii there. Yeah, very good lens, trusty, nice and heavy, which is kind of the opposite of what you want with mirrorless. And then another recent addition that I bought a few months ago is the, again, a Canon mount Sigma 100-400 lens, yeah. And I only got this a few months ago. I realised that the 70-200 doesn't really cut it for what I want. I don't need an f2.8, and I'd rather have a longer focal length, so when I'm doing shots with the moon in, or you just want to really get a long focal length to shoot in on the mountains and really compress the scene, I'd rather that than having just an f2.8. One thing you might notice if you've ever used this lens is because you can't buy it with a tripod collar mount. This I got off eBay for like 15 quid, and it's custom fit, so it's like a third-party add-on for this lens, and the lens wasn't designed to have a tripod collar on it, which if if you ever use a heavy long lens like this, is annoying, because you're mounting it with the camera. You know, your camera's mounted here, and then you've got all this weight on the front, and it just shakes. And yeah, so having that tripod collar makes so much difference to the stability and the usability of the lens. And so far, super happy with this. The only downside of using this third-party add-on is because they've had to like laser cut around certain like buttons and things, so you can't twist it. If you want to go into from a landscape view to a portrait, you can't twist the lens within the collar mount. You have to physically turn it like that, which that's a downside. But yeah, so I've got 15mm, 35mm, 24 to 105, 100 to 400, and then 18 to 105 for ACPS, I don't know, crop sensor cameras. I've got this little Manfrotto Pixie, I think it's called, the set, like they did the number 2 version. It's got the little extended legs. Use that for vlogging. Great little tripod. This was my first tripod I bought, the Manfrotto Befree. It's a good little travel tripod, although it can't really handle the weight. I noticed a massive stability difference between this little one and that Manfrotto 290, which is a very stable tripod, that one. This one, it works, and it's lighter and smaller, so you know, there's a compromise there. But I brought that, so sometimes I set up the vlogging camera on it. What else have we got? I mean, spare batteries, chargers. Oh, this power extra charger that I got off Amazon, great. One of the, it's a very small reason for upgrading to the A7riii from the A7R2, but it means I don't have to bring 2 different battery chargers. I can use one battery charger for both the A7iii, the A7R3, charge 2 batteries at one time. I can either plug in a USB lead into it, or it's got one little one that's kind of wrapped into it, which is even better. I really like that. And then you've got a little screen that tells you how full it is and so forth. This is a little USB powered, plug it in there, powered torch. This is an Anchor one, because very good little well-made torch. Obviously a bit of whiskey. Cleaning stuff. I bought this to repair things if I need to. It's got little tools on it. These little alcohol wipes, nice ones. This little Nisi cleaner for, well, screens. Could use it on a screen, to be honest. Or its main use is the filters. That's what it's for mainly. Which I don't use that often, but when I do, it works really well. So let's go on to filters. Got the Nisi Filters. It's a bit cumbersome, this packaging, but I know it's going to be safe and secure, especially if the bag gets dropped or something. It's not like a soft pouch. This is a hard, you know, can really take some punishment and abuse. Yeah, so I've got different filters in here. I've got 3 stop ND, 6 stop, 10 stop. I've got a reverse grad, which is a great filter to have in your arsenal. I've got a hard grad, which again is a must. And then I spoke about this in my review comparing filters. I've got this Firecrest ND soft grad because I broke my Nisi soft grad. The first time I used it, I was so annoyed, and I didn't really want to pay out straight away, so I've kind of been holding off. And this was on offer for like 60 quid when it's normally like 160 or something. And well, watch the video. I'll link it, and you can see the results from that. But basically, it's okay to a point, this filter. But you know, it's one of those things. It's compromise sometimes, and for £60 I'm compromising But if I paid 160, I wouldn't be happy. Filter holder, the V5 Pro. Got CPL, the original polarizing filter. They do a newer landscape one. I don't know if there's much difference, but this is just the original polarizer and it works great. That needs clean. And then some adapter rings for different lenses. Obviously got my laptop here, which is the Microsoft Surface version 5, I think. I love this. It's a great laptop. I use it all the time as like a tablet almost. And then when I want to do photo editing, you know, or travel, it packs away so tiny and light. Battery lasts a good few hours. It's fast. Video editing, I haven't really done much on it because it's not great. So I'm in two minds whether I'll do any while I'm away here, video editing. I might have to. It's more like the screen ratio that's a bit more annoying, that the icon's a bit too small or too big. Can't seem to get it right. I mean, you know, if I make proxies of all the files, I could edit fine on it. You know, I have to compromise because of the size and weight. It's not going to be as powerful as my computer at home. Oh, and super handy thing, if you're travelling, take a, well, you know, one of these socket, extension socket, because then I only brought one adapter for the Faroes, which is like just an EU adapter. That means I can plug everything in one go and not have different adapters. While we're on computers, I have brought 2 hard drives with me. I've got a 2 terabyte just generic hard drive, and then I've got a 500 gigabyte SSD. I have them plugged into this super handy dongle USB adapter. I don't know what you want to call it, because I made a mistake. I bought the case separate to the hard drive and the SSD, because this is a nice Amazon again, kind of metal with rubber edges, so it's kind of drop proof and waterproof to a degree. It's got a gasket in it, and also I wanted to be more picky about what actual SSD and hard drives are in them, because half the time that's the problem with these things. They're cheap and cheerful, you get what you pay for. So I have more control this way. But this, when I bought this case, it was USB-C, and this laptop and my PC at home don't have USB-C, so that was a bit annoying. Whereas this other case I got is USB, just normal USB. Or, I don't know, A is it? But anyway, this dongle, so it's a USB 3 type A, which is what this laptop is, and I've got 2 USB A, and then on the side I have 2 USB C ports, so I can plug that in there, plug my USB C into the dongle, plug my USB A into the dongle, yeah, and so I can run everything off without having to worry about what type of port it is, and kind of future-proof this laptop to a degree as well, and that works really well. Got a little mouse. I hate using laptops without mouse. I've got spare SD cards for the cameras. Obviously the A7iii and the A7R both have dual card slots, so I've got 2 cards in each camera, so I'm backing up everything there, and then I am backing up again onto the SSD and the hard drive. For audio, you'll notice when I showed you a picture of the A7iii, it's got just like a generic shotgun mic on it. Got that for doing stuff like this, but then also I've got, they're just charging at the moment, this is a wireless lavalier mic basically. Now it's designed by a company called Subzero, and it was about 50 quid for this. Now if you've looked at lavalier mics, cheap rubbish ones are 50 quid, decent ones are like 300 quid. I thought I'd give this a go because it's more designed for musicians. It's not really designed for video camera work. And there's other various reasons why I thought I'd go try these, because they're rechargeable batteries in through USB. You just switch the switch on both of them and they connect straight away, no problem. And they're just a good quality. The one with the lavalier mic's got a nice clip, so I can clip it on my belt. This, I've obviously put this adapter on here so I can route it around, and then I've got a nice 90-degree one to go into the mic audio socket, rather than having like that going straight in, hanging out the side. The only problem, it's not designed to be mounted on anything, this one. They really wouldn't be hard. I mean, they designed this clip system onto here, on this one. I don't know why they can't do something similar on this, but basically my solution is a rubber band, and then I will just attach it around the eyepiece like so. Tested it a little bit, and so far it seems to be working really well. It's not the cleanest audio, it is a little bit hissy, but for £50 I'm happy to compromise on that. Just as long as you can hear me speaking and I can walk away from the camera, that's good enough for me. All this stuff, the bag I've got it in is my Nya Evo 36 litre, I believe it is, backpack that I bought a year ago. It's in really good condition still. Compared to other backpacks I bought, okay, the other ones I bought have been more like £50, £60 rather than you're getting on £300 for this. This is it's good as new basically. Obviously got a little bit of dirt on it and stuff, but really well made, really can pack a lot in here. I love the fact that I can just stand it up, it's got a stable base. The base is super rugged with this like rubberized kind of very hard wearing material at the bottom. The only kind of downside I think about it, because the benefit of the bag is it's got a pouch to put a water bladder in. But normally with backpacks you put the water bladder in the back here. Now obviously you've got all the camera stuff at the back, so they designed it so you have to put it at the front and then thread the tube through all the top here and then it comes out the back. That I think is a bit of a bad design. Okay, fair enough, you're forced to put it in the front, but I think they should have had it so you can route it out of the front without having to go through the bag, or an option to do both, because it's just a hassle having to put it through, and then if I want to get something out here there's a tube in the way. But then again, I basically have never used that as an option. I just tested it out and was like, oh, that's annoying. I normally just carry a bottle of water with me if I'm carrying this bag, because I've never gone more than half a day. If I go longer, then I take my Osprey 60 litre, you know, proper hiking bag with me. Anything else? Oh, I have purchased some books on the Faroe Islands. This Brad with a T at the end. One is, I mean, he's aged like 6 months ago. I read it, but I remember it being very useful. A lot of information in there. And this, by the international photographer, is a waterproof, it's got that kind of plasticky feel to it, map, really nice topographical map of the Faroe Islands, with like, where you got all the roads and lots of symbols indicating really good photography points to go. So I feel like this, I think it was probably like £20–30. And then there was a PDF that you could download as well that gave you a lot of information about travelling and all that kind of stuff, you know, and the islands and places to see, and you know how things work. So I feel it was worth it, because it's already given me a lot of ideas of places to go, how to get there, kind of thing. Another useful document that I found is it's published by Visit Faroes, but it's like a downloadable PDF hiking guide of places to go hiking. I think it's got about 20 different hikes that you can do, and a little topographical map and description of the route, and yeah, how easy it is in a theoretical time, and kind of just things to keep in mind about how the weather can change from one minute to the next and all this kind of thing. That has been super useful, and there's going to come a couple of hikes I want to do on that. Now the last thing I brought that feels very important to show you is this thing here. Now what this is a Garmin Inreach Mini, I believe it's called, yeah. And it's basically, it's like a satellite phone in some respects, in which it uses satellites to communicate rather than a mobile network. But it you can't bring anybody on it. You can SMS people on it. There's I mean watch reviews of it on the internet. But basically the whole reason I got this is because of, if I'm I don't know what the mobile network's like in this country. I know I have to have data off because it costs a fortune for the network I'm on. One of the things I need to do is buy a SIM from a local shop to use over here, but you know, I don't know how good the mobile network is, and I know when I go to places like the Lake District in parts of Scotland, mobile reception can be very sketchy. So if I fall down or get hurt or I need help or assistance, this has basically a little button on it. Where is it? We've got this SOS tab. Pull that away, got a button behind it, and hold that in for like 20 seconds or so, and basically it alerts the equivalent of Thunderbirds. Basically it sends out a distress signal to a 24-hour, 7-day a week, 365-day a year company that will send the appropriate help to you. So I could be anywhere in the world, all I need is a clear view of the sky, and I can get help and be saved from a potentially life or death situation, and you never know. This isn't cheap. This was about £300 for this little thing. Plus, on top of that, for you to be able to use it, you need a subscription, which the basic one is £15 a month. Now, that is the one I have, and that means I can send, like, you can send unlimited preset messages. So and there's 3 preset messages you have, so I can send "I'm fine" or "this is where I am," and it will attach your location. And I'll set that up to message like both my parents. It will SMS them and email them with the preset message and a link to a map which will show my exact location, and they can even track me. You can set it so it tracks me every 10 minutes or so. It's a safety device, and you really can't put a price on safety, really, can you? So I have that, and keeping that on charge. It lasts, depending on how much often it's tracking, the frequency of the tracking information, it will last a couple of days, basically. But I've got that charging, and that is basically all my equipment that I brought with me that I'm using. It's not a small amount of stuff, but I've come all this way. I'm not going to waste the opportunity by not bringing certain things. Well, I'm going to finish my coffee, do a bit more editing and data backup, and then this afternoon, being the weather's so nice, I plan to do a hike up a mountain. My only concern is that I'm hoping it's not too windy, because if it's going to be windy, it's going to be windy at the top of a mountain, so you know, got to think safe as well. So that will be my plan for this afternoon, coming into the evening to catch sunset from the top of a mountain, It's one of the routes that's actually in the Faroes, Visit Faroes hiking guide. So yeah, that's my plan, and thanks for watching today. Subscribe, ask any questions about any of the stuff here if you want. Yeah, just right. Ciao for now.